The power of J Skull.
Welcome everybody. It's the power of J Skull. It's VHS Jason. It's the other Jason Roy Gaston. We're here. We're here to talk we're doing another character deep dive. And I'm sure it's about a character that is familiar to everybody who knows anything about He-Man. Who are we doing this week, Jace?
We are standing in the shadow of the mighty Granamyr. Look at him, that magnificent
look how
thing.
Mighty he is.
Oh,
yeah.
just everything except for the hat. The hat is heinous.
Yeah, the hat has got some German military vibe going on that maybe I don't agree with.
He
but,
doesn't want to talk about what he did in the 40s.
Yeah, what he did in the war. He don't want to talk about that at all.
It's the same reason why the Minions never talk about what they did in the 40s. It's the same
thing. And what they're still doing on their islands. Anyway, Granamyr. I was kind of being a little bit sarcastic there because I wonder if your casual He-Man fan who maybe wasn't obsessed with the Filmation series would know about this character. Because I've got a question for you, Jay. Has this character appeared in any other version besides the Filmation version of He-Man?
I do not believe he has, which is very surprising because he is, in my opinion, a character who appears the least, but you remember the most because he's huge. His dialogue is so well written, and the voice actor, I want to say it was John Irwin, did such a great job with him.
He did. There were times you could slightly pick him, but the rest of the time it's really good. What I'll say about Granamyr is he is not getting where credit is due after watching this couple of episodes. He is a complex, fascinating, wise character who really adds a lot of gravitas to
Absolutely.
Especially this first episode that we're going to talk about, Jace. And let's get into it. The first episode is The Dragon's Gift. Written by one of the standard trilogy of writers, I would say, is Larry DiTillio.
Yes.
Yes.
This is Larry DiTillio's favorite episode that he ever wrote, by the way, and I think for good reason.
Wow, interesting. I would absolutely, it starts off in classic He-Man fashion. We're at the throne of Eternia, and it's funny because we always see that Cringer is a buffoon. He's slapstick, he falls over. It's not often we get to see Adam actually be taking pratfalls, but this is how we were introduced to Adam and Cringer in this, and I thought that was a nice touch to see Adam being irresponsible.
Yes, there are so many great character introductions to these characters we've known before. As you said, Adam getting run over by Cringer. I really enjoyed Teela being catty and Man-at-Arms saying, "Hush, child."
Yeah.
It wasn't stern. It was just, shut up,
girl.
I really like that.
And of course, it started in a classic fashion by having a visitor, a stranger, a total unfamiliar-looking person turn up to the throne room. Mind you, you could get access to the throne room.
Absolutely.
Easy as walking into a Walmart. Yeah.
You could walk in with one of those plastic masks from the 80s that just had a little slit for the mouth and the rubber band around the back, and they wouldn't say a thing.
No, they wouldn't say a thing. And so when this guy walks in, you're going, what is it about him that looks eerily familiar?
What is it about that man who has Skeletor's outfit on and Skeletor's voice? I know I've seen him somewhere before. I just can't put my finger on it.
It's definitely not Skeletor, though.
No, it's not.
It could be the Phantom.
He doesn't have a skull for a face. That's not Skeletor.
Hey, he could if he didn't wear the moat, he totally would have passed as the Phantom. I'm just saying.
I tell you what, though, that Yosemite Sam handlebar mustache is exquisite.
It's the touch. Like, I want to see the scene before this scene where he's in front of the mirror going, "Yeah, I think I look pretty good."
Skeletor, you need something extra. Your lips are sticking out too much. Oh, you've got a point. Come here, closer. Rip.
Rip, exactly. It's the same color. It is highly likely that's where that mustache come from.
Rip that thing right off of Beastman's chest. Just give me that, you magnificent
Poor Beastman.
You
But of
like
course,
that, don't you? Or do
we're all fooled,
Skeletor.
of course, so Jace. We're all fooled, of course. It's Skeletor, and this thing is an assassination attempt.
Yes.
He goes in with one goal, and that's to assassinate the king.
I will say right here, right now, this is the most threatening we have seen Skeletor in this show because he was not messing around. And he basically, for all intents and purposes, he kills Man at Arms. Tila's reaction, by the way, sells it because Linda Gary was screaming her head off.
Yeah, and
And
they have a great battle
they
too.
have a fight, and she doesn't even question it. She's gonna kill him, and he's gonna kill her, and it feels like Skeletor is a threat here, like he's never been a threat before.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm all here for it.
Yeah, he is in big time, and he turns basically Man at Arms to basically a China ornament.
Yeah,
Basically, yeah, something like you display on your, on the good cabinet.
something you
But
still
yeah,
can pay for $600.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's what it is. But it is the boldest we'd seen Skeletor. No henchman, no grand plan. I'm going in there with a bad cosplay, and I'm taking out the king.
See the conversation on Snake Mountain. And what do you want us to do, Skeletor? Nothing. What's your plan? I'm going to walk up and hit him with this rock.
Hey, but do you agree though that he's really toying with Tila here?
I think he is. Yes,
because the queen says, well, the king or the queen says, send in the guards, and he quickly just levitates them, disposes of them quickly.
Oh yeah, Skeletor's having just a grand old time in this.
He's having fun, right? So yeah, and then obviously when it comes down to the crunch, he's able just to teleport the hell out of there.
Absolutely.
And does a runner.
I wish
and we
we'd
see
seen more
Tila.
of this Skeletor, yeah.
Like I said, when I showed this image, I think the one thing I didn't talk about, we see her crying, which is very rare for Tila to be completely emotionally broken down over this.
Yes, and I will say I respected the way that they gave Tila actual emotions without making her a fading violet. She was upset, and then she was angry. It was a very human. It was a very human reaction from her. And to
It
me,
was.
her righteous anger, both at Skeletor and the sorceress later on. It just made the stakes feel even higher. I think that this was the most invested I'd gotten into a He-Man episode in forever because I'm just, what's going to happen?
No, it was
next?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I can get distracted by watching these when they play out, but I wasn't with this one. I was locked in all the way. And yeah, the next scene after this, they decide, look, we're going to have to go to the we need magic to solve this. We're going to go need to see the sorceress. And I love this scene too, because for once, and it looked like she wasn't going to actually provide any help, but she at least at once, like, sorceress has real value in this scene. And when they go to visit her, and she's trying to, some magic mirror that helps her see if she can find the answer to take the spell off Man at Arms, which she can't find through there.
I'm just happy she wasn't a complete sociopath in this episode.
No, she was helpful. It wasn't all about her. She was actually helpful. Except for the fact that, she goes, well, look, I know who can help you, but I can't tell you. Like, I know who can help you, but I can't tell you where they are. Is basically. Well, that was a little bit annoying.
It was a promise, though. And what did she have? She had the honor of Grayskull.
That's true.
So
That's true. And she did say if she'd said something, they were going to rain down hellfire on Eternia.
Yeah, I mean, she kept her word, but at the same time, she gave them enough of a clue, and she knew exactly what she was doing when she sent them to the library. And I also enjoyed the fact that He-Man and Tila had to do some actual investigating, and they had
study
to do
some
brain.
reading.
Yeah, it was almost
I
like
like
this
that
was
a
an
lot.
episode of Batman. I just loved that so much.
Yeah, they had to do detective work. And again, one of the things I love the morals in the series, and it's just lovely to think, kids, here's a way you solve a riddle. Go to the library. Look it up.
I like that He-Man was sitting there saying, oh yes, we need to do this. Normally, you would think He-Man would be like, book yummy, huh?
Nom noms.
You're seeing that he's not just muscle, he's not just
No,
heart, he's also
no.
got a brain. That's
Yeah.
how
And
I
then
look whenever
there's
I have to read something that I don't like either.
yes,
I look just like the same face and everything.
same. But it's a great thing. They have to investigate, and they find out through. Hey, I don't know if I'd seen a map before of Eternia.
I think this is the first time. And if you ask
Yeah,
me, I don't know if you've got a screen cap of the map.
I don't. I wish
And
I did.
if you do, you know what? The magic of editing, you can put it up now. Look at this map and tell me it does not look like Westeros.
It does. Yeah, I was waiting to see the little walls, little paper mache walls start to build up and stuff. So
Yeah, it
it
looks
does.
like
It does.
Westeros to me. So I'm
Oh,
just
it gave me the Middle
wondering.
Earth vibe as well.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm just kind of wondering if somebody didn't watch this episode when they were younger and thought, "I like that map." I'm gonna use that map." I mean, obviously, it's missing a continent, but it looks like the
Yeah.
eastern half of Westeros to me.
I
The
must admit, I
eastern
was
half.
trying to see if where he'd marked the Triforce locations, but anyway. uh, but it was good. They realised they have to go to basically to the snow.
Yes,
That's
they
where
have
they're
to
going to
find
find
they have to find the ice trolls because the ice trolls are the
ice
friends of the
trolls.
dragons.
Exactly. And they don't really meet ice trolls in the beginning, do they?
No, they do.
What are they
not.
called? Snow beasts or something? Something
Snow
beasts.
beasts. They were not very imaginative with the names on this show, but they were what they were. They were
They
snow
were where
beasts.
they were, and He-Man clearly didn't have any problems. He's just flicking them off like they're nothing. So, which was easy. But we do come across who they are there to meet. These are odd-looking,
Yes.
non-lipped ice
I
trolls.
think the one on the right is Loki's dad. And I think the one on the left is the king ice troll. No, I really liked these guys because whenever they first show up, they're speaking a foreign language. And to me, that made this journey, first of all, this is a journey, it's a hero's journey, but this made Eternia feel bigger and more complex. The fact
I
that
will agree
these
with
guys are not speaking English, which I'm assuming that He-Man and them are speaking English. They could be speaking Eternian. I don't know.
But you mentioned the word Eternian. That's how they communicate. Goes, do you speak the word of Eternian? I think is
Yes,
the
they
language
did.
of it. And I was like, oh wow, you're like, yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore. You know, we're in completely new location. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, you could do that. That'll go viral if you sing that whole song. Yeah,
do
and I thought it was really wonderful. I thought it was. It's great that we're going to an adventure. At this point, though, Jace, did they know though they're off to see the dragon, but they don't know it's Granamyr. They're looking. No, they do know it's Granamyr.
They
don't
do know it's Granamyr because the sorceress name dropped him, but said, "I can't tell you where he lives.
I can't tell you where
He
it
does
is.
not accept solicitors."
And when they do come across Granamyr and we get the introduction of Granamyr, it's quite an introduction, I think. And I'll tell you why.
Is. It seemed like it came out of like a Conan movie or something.
Yeah, it was very dramatic, the rise of Granamyr, I thought. And I'll tell you what, he's not a character that you're sure of in this episode.
No, you never are.
You never really know because you immediately think he's there to help. But the mission they send him on, which we'll get to tonight, it starts to get really grey and tricky. And you've got to question yourself whether they're on the right journey as we get to. But before we get there, yeah, Granamyr, his design, I may not like that. What a screenshot to get, Jace.
Oh, my God.
He is doing a little bit of a jig. No, but essentially, his design is a good design.
Do you still dance the Macarena?
Yeah.
Granamyr remembers the Macarena. Ducka, 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 ducka.
Any criticism of his design is he did skip leg day, but besides
Yes,
that,
and the helmet is just no.
and I remember we were having a bit of a joke when we were talking about. I think this in the last episode is the horns attached to his helmet or is his head?
I don't know.
I think there is horns. They did.
I hope they're his horns.
Then how did he get it on? because those horns don't go just straight up, don't they?
There's probably a hinge, or maybe it's not even metal. Maybe it's just foam. Maybe he just likes having a
comes
laugh with
apart
people.
like Vader or something.
Because you know that He-Man and Teela were having this very same conversation as they were leaving Granamyr's. What was he wearing the helmet for? I don't know. Did you notice it was being held together by Scotch tape?
Yeah. But, besides that, it once he starts talking, this is where we get the power of Granamyr. Granamyr, sorry. But he's grand. But yes, this is where I'm like, wow, this is a well-developed character here, because
some amazing dialogue. This is, in my opinion, this is the best dialogue that I've not only heard in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. This is some of the best dialogue that 80s children's cartoons ever put out. Because everything that comes out of Granamyr's mouth is gold. He is such a petty bitch in this.
But he is. And what really threw me is, I'm from the perspective of Teela and He-Man going to look to someone for help, and you quickly realise in his first couple of lines of dialogue, he's not necessarily willing to just do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
he has his own agenda at play. It's interesting. So basically, she's desperate. She's going, look, we need your help. Please help us, because he doesn't want to. And he makes a deal with them. If you bring me back this thing from the middle of the forest, this tree. Sky Tree. If you bring back Sky Tree. And Red Flag should have been raising when he said, and bring it back here so I can watch it burn.
I loved that, though. Bring me Sky Tree so I may watch it burn in my fireplace.
That's some dark stuff.
Wow, that is dark. I'm actually kind of surprised that not only did they go there, but later you find out something about Sky Tree that is just completely flips the script.
Absolutely.
And makes you wonder exactly how far Teela and He-Man will go, because this is not just a story about rescuing Man-at-Arms. This is a story of how much you are willing to corrupt yourself. And
exactly.
I love that theme. I love the theme of heroes corrupting themselves to do what seems like the right thing.
Exactly. 100%. And especially when we get to this scene, they get transported by Granamyr right to the middle of the forest.
Yes. The one cringe moment in the entire episode. Yeah. I'm a Treepercon! I'm sorry, you're a what? I'm a Treepercon!
He's not really happy with your thoughts about that. He's pretty disappointed that you didn't like him. Yeah. I go with it because it's like,
no, I'm a Treepercon. Treepercons wear purple.
It is a shame because the beasts
I don't like leprechauns.
The beasts he had with him are cool, really threatening. Yeah. But he just brings it down to cartoon kiddie level. I think that's a choice because we're dealing with some very mature themes. In that, you have to have a moment of brevity for these kids, and I think that's
they had to. I hate to use the term. They had to dumb it down somewhere to make the executives happy, and this is where they're like, "Let's introduce a leprechaun, call him a Treepercon, and make him purple." Can he have an Irish accent? Yes, he can have an Irish accent, even though there's no Ireland in Eternia.
Yes.
Lots of planets have an Ireland.
Yeah, but he's there and there's a good little battle that happens between Teela and He-Man and those beasts, which are pretty easily stopped by Teela, let's be honest. But they go up to the tree. Where's the tree? We need it. I even like the line when He-Man, when he finds out where the tree is from the Treepercon, and he goes, what are you doing?
Okay, hold on. When he finds out where the tree is, you mean the scene where He-Man says, Treepercon, could you tell us where the Sky Tree is? Yeah, it's right there behind you. It's the giant tree.
But they get on Battle Cat to go ride to it, though. They still have to go somewhere. But it's the moment he gets on Battle Cat, dude. And Treepercon goes, well, what are you going to be doing? And he goes, you don't want to know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, even He-Man's going like, you don't want to know what I'm about to do. And it's like, I've never ever heard He-Man be like that. It was pretty cool.
There are times that they kind of take He-Man to the edge, or they
Yeah.
take a hero to the edge, but they always, there's always that minute, no, He-Man, don't. You're right. I'm a hero. Right here during this episode, I fully, especially as a kid, I fully expected He-Man to cut the tree down. I
Yeah.
fully expected it. Even whenever the tree grew a face and was like, what you doing, bro?
Yeah.
I still thought He-Man was going to do it.
And he was.
He was.
They had a whole dialogue scene together. And He-Man, still at the end of that, was getting ready to do it. And it's only when he had his sword, out, ready to take the first hack, that he decides to rethink his position on it. And you're talking about taking to the edge. You couldn't have got any closer. That we're gonna. I'm like, surely we're not going to see He-Man hack a living being. This can't happen. And thankfully,
and first of all, we kind of skipped over it, but the animation on Skytree was beautiful.
Oh yes, beautiful work.
Even
when it goes right up to the top of it.
Yeah, I just love how detailed it is. And I know that there were not a whole lot of frames, but the fact that they made all those lines and all the frames was, to me, that was great. It lent to the gravitas of the scene. Secondly, I love the way that He-Man talked Teela down, saying, would Man-at-Arms want this? And she had to agree, no, he wouldn't want this.
Yeah, it's a beautiful moment. It's a profound moment. And when you were saying about they didn't use a lot of frames about the tree, it's really important because it's a moment of discovery as the audience now has to ask that question. Is it the right thing to do? Because before He-Man's having asked that question, we're asking that question, is it the right thing to do? And it is jarring because, even you as an audience member, hey, look, is it right for us to save this character to kill one of your favourite characters? So it works on a couple of levels in that way. Not the characters, but you as a person have to kind of come up with that. And thankfully, no. They decide not to.
They also muddle it up and make it a little bit more morally gray when Skytree gives them permission.
Yes!
And says, hey, I've lived a long time, and if this brings your friend back, absolutely chop me down. Please do. I just thought, wow, what is going on?
Yeah, this is way above normal Filmation He-Man material. Yeah. This is next level stuff.
I honestly don't know how the writers got away with this one.
I don't know how it didn't win a Peabody Award or whatever award you would win for animation.
This is right up there with the Brave Star episode where the kid dies of a drug overdose. I mean, how did they get away with that?
Away with it, 100%. So, it is huge. It is huge. However, and no, I think I'm jumping ahead. Before we get to the however moment, once they say no, all right, Granamyr, call us back. And this is a scene where you're going, because you're assuming they're going back to die, basically. What are they going to be thrown to the demon realm?
Yeah, and He-Man's just like, we weren't going to chop him down, so go ahead and send us to the demon realm, I guess.
And the first time I'd heard of the demon realm, you ever heard of it before?
Not that I remember. I don't even know if they ever mentioned it again, to be honest.
Oh, bummer. Would have liked to have seen the demon realm. But what's really interesting here, and this is what makes, I think, really puts the icing on Granamyr as a character, is the fact that he doesn't. He is somehow impressed by their defiance.
Well, it was all a test, because he was talking about how he was never that impressed with humans. Humans are always greedy and selfish, and he sends them on a mission, basically entrapment, to go and be greedy and selfish, and they come back and they were not, and so for the first time in 1,000 years, he has to rethink his stance and give them that gift.
And it's a book, and it's wonderful.
Yes.
But then the episode's over.
Yeah.
We don't see Man-at-Arms get transferred back. We go straight to the outro section, where it's basically, everyone's happy now. And look, hey, it was one of those things, but he helped us out and everything is awesome. And I was a little bit kind of, that's a shame, because this episode deserved a really strong ending to it. I don't think it got it, honestly, Jace. But 90% of it was fantastic.
I would say 97% of it was fantastic. The
Mm.
ending was a little bit rushed, but I think that they just plain ran out of time because they
Yeah, I
didn't
think
want to put
it's
any
a shame.
Granamyr
That's what I
scenes on
said.
the ground. Yeah.
I'm not angry at him. I know why. It's time.
Hmm.
Like, hey man, we're at the 20-minute mark. We got to get out of this. They don't have the flexibility like streaming these days. If you've got a story that goes 47 minutes, you've got one that goes 38. It doesn't matter. Back then, you had to be to the second because you had to match with the
Yes.
ad breaks and everything. But yeah, Jace, I got to say, mate, it's definitely in my top three
I
easily
would
this episode.
I would honestly say my top three as well, along with the one from last week, which it slipped my mind. I can't remember what it was. And
Oh, that was
yeah, the problem
the
with
Beast Man.
power. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Beast Man episode. But that
Yeah.
one and the problem with power and this one right here, definitely my top three episodes.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is where He-Man is basically a meme factory at this point on the internet. And those who are fans, we understand that there is some magic in these hills, and this is
Yeah.
an example of the type of magic that lays within the He-Man filmation series. And yeah, I was thrilled to go, wow, Granamyr knocks it out of the park in the first episode I've watched him in. So absolutely brilliant.
You keep calling him Granamyr.
Yeah, Granamyr.
It's like, oh, come here, sweetie, give Granamyr a
Yeah.
kiss.
Yeah, I saw him. He got a tissue. They licked it and then wiped my face with it. Yeah,
You've
yeah.
got
Keep
some
calling
schmutz
Graham.
on your face.
Australian
dear.
accent. What can I say?
Would you
What is
like
it?
some cookies? It might be cookies. It might be a sewing kit. I don't know. Oh, it's a sewing kit.
It's my dyslexia. It's because it looks like grandma to me.
You kind of look like
But
my
either way.
grandma a little bit.
Anyway, great character. I immediately, after I watched the Jace, I'm like, where's the figure for this thing? Where is it? Like, how do they not make a figure of this character? Because he's kind of a big deal. And straight away, and you let me know immediately, there is. They did
Yes.
make a figure. And funny enough, I looked it up on some guy on eBay was trying to sell it for $1,000. Good luck, buddy. But you can still find them. What I found fascinating is when they stand up, they're as tall as Castle Grayskull,
Oh, yeah.
which I thought was really kind of cool as well. So I'm going to own one of them because to me, he is up there with the big, big characters in the way of in the hierarchy of power within that show. So I'd love to have him. He's now being someone I would just, yeah. I don't know where I fit him.
like that they basically hinted that Granamyr is more powerful than He-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, wiser than the sorceress too.
Yes.
I'm feeling
Yes.
like he's the big kahuna.
Yep.
Yeah, and very wisely, they didn't stuff him in every second episode.
No, they did not.
It's a
They
smart
used
way to do
him
it.
very rarely. I think Granamyr only had 3 appearances, 2 in He-Man and 1 in She-Ra.
Perfect segue, Jace, because that's where we're moving on to now.
Yes, let's do it.
The next episode we're talking about is She-Ra Filmation. And this is the episode Dark Smoke and Fire. Also written by, I would say, the Holy Trilogy of writers. Another one with J. Michael Straczynski.
J. Michael Straczynski.
There you go. Yeah, I'm going to be really honest with you, Jace. I didn't love this as much as the episode we just spoke about. But I did like this episode.
I thought it was clever. The story was clever, but I do think that it let down the characters, and it was not anywhere near as complex or emotional or mature as The Dragon's Gift, but still a good episode.
It is a good episode, and I tell you who I liked very much. I actually liked the opening of this because we get the plot 30 seconds into this episode. We know exactly what this episode is all about. Web store, right?
No, that's not Web Store. That's Modulock.
Modulock, sorry, Modulock.
Modulock, yes. The greatest...
Amateur hour. Modulock.
The greatest of the classic figures, and I
Yeah.
only knew one person who had this action figure. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Modulock was a modular figure. He
Mm-hmm.
came in a box. He didn't come in the bubble packaging like everybody else,
Yeah.
but you could basically rearrange the figure any way you wanted to. You could put a leg where an arm was. You could put a head
Yeah.
down where a foot was. He was
Yeah.
amazing. I had a friend who had him, and I played with him once, and my friend had already lost 8 of the pieces.
Yeah,
And
I would
one
have
of the
too.
pieces was the head. So, but it was
Great
still, I got to
design,
play with
though.
Modulog. Oh,
Great
incredible
design.
design.
Gorgeous design. And Modulock is a bit of a scientist or an engineer or something, maybe making V2 rockets in his spare time, because that's the plot here. They have constructed a missile that is it's a homing missile that when She-Ra opens up a portal to go to Eternia, this thing will switch on and fly through the portal with She-Ra, disrupting her path.
Hold on a
And they'll
second. Was
lose her
Shadow
forever.
Weaver in that scene the whole time? Because that's the
Right.
first time I've noticed she was standing there.
Yeah, I know. She gets no dialogue. Like, Imp gets all kind of, annoying
Well,
dialogue in this scene.
at least he only has 2 lines. But I honestly
Yeah,
did not even realize Shadow Weaver was there.
she was there.
That's so
We need to
funny.
fill the screen with something. Here, put just a still shot.
Yeah.
The back of Shadow Weaver. Couple of questions here. I didn't know that they knew that she was going in and out of Eternia. B, I didn't think it was a common thing. For me, it was like, has she only done it a couple of times? Like, it seems like you're betting all on a scenario that's going to be very rare to happen.
I think
But of
it
course I'm
was
wrong.
as rare as the writers needed it to be.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I mean, it kind of in after the aftermath of the Secret of the Sword, where you kind of got the idea that He-Man and She-Ra were not going to be together, is sort of short-circuited by this episode
Yeah.
because it turns out it's just a walk down the block for She-Ra.
Yeah, and
It's still-
she's just going
it's
to
fine.
surprise him for just catching up, I think.
Yeah, it does make sense though that Hordak would know about this, though, given that he was the one who went to Eternia to go snatch her in the first place.
Yes, I will absolutely won't argue that. And they're right, because I think I was watching. I don't think they were there a week waiting for it to go off. I think it goes off pretty well straight away, because Shira's got plans to go visit the old cousin. And then as she goes through, the missile goes off, and boom, it goes through there. Now this is where it blows my mind. Is the next moment here, Jace, because I wasn't aware. I was always under the assumption that it was an immediate thing. It is not.
I think it's immediate when the writers need it to be, and it's not when the writers need it to be. But you have to admit something about Adora floating through the gate with her hands like this, just going back.
It was pretty wild.
Tell me that did not make you think of Bugs Bunny.
It really was getting into that kind of territory. I mean, I don't know if I completely despise it, though.
Oh, no, I liked it. I thought it was very charming.
But it kind of blew my mind, because I didn't know that she floated through space. I was pretty under the assumption that she, it was just Portal. So to see her, just floating through, and this is a shot where the missile comes and disrupts it, which makes me beg the question, how long does it normally take?
I don't know, but I love the Jack Kirby influence in the background.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That is a great
dropped
point.
some acid before they drew that. That's all.
No,
I'm
it's a
saying.
great point. It is absolutely derived from Jack Kirby.
They've got the
illustration.
highway stripes in there and everything. I don't know. Somebody was on some illicit substances.
Hey, it works. Visually, it's very strong, as far as I'm concerned. Except for the moment is when she does get knocked out of her orbit. It's not really an orbit, her trajectory. All of a sudden, a whole heap of wooden doors appear.
She's got kind of a Barbie thing going right there, too, doesn't she? Like classic 1960s Barbie.
Yeah, I mean, she's like rotating in space.
She's even got the high heels. I swear I bet you that they had a Barbie doll and used the Barbie doll as a reference to draw her like that.
May have. It becomes actually, I was going to mention the high heels, because there's a moment she climbs up a cliff face. And I was thinking to myself, it's so 80s, isn't it? You would never design a female a hero like that anymore, because it's like everybody's looking at that. Is the worst thing to be climbing a mountain with heels.
I have to stop here for just a minute. One of my favorite comic books is, I don't know if I can see it right now, but it's JLA Year One.
Oh yeah,
And they have this scene where Black Canary and the Flash are talking, and she's talking about breaking a heel during a fight. And he says, "Don't you think that it's a little impractical to wear heels while you're in a combat situation?" And she grabs both ends of his cowl and twists it around. And he's like, "Okay, point taken." So I mean, if He-Man can wear a fur bikini, Adora can wear heels.
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. We do find her, though. She has landed at a very familiar location to her.
Yes.
She thinks, she lucked out here and she landed on Eternia. She did not. Well, she did, but not her Eternia. No, it's her Eternia. But we find out very quickly she goes and climbs up the cliff to go and see where the castle is. She knows where the castle is. All is good. It's not there, Jace. It's gone.
No,
so I can imagine being pretty freaked at this time.
Oh, I'm sure, yes.
So she does what you got to do, man. Pull out the sword. Boom. It's time. And she turns into Shira. Actually, Jace, before I go forward, I do want to go back a little bit. Light Hope, the interaction with Light Hope. Not a lot. You don't get to see that a lot in Shira, do you?
Light Hope really did not have a lot to do on the show.
So it was nice to actually...
I remember watching the introduction to this series as a kid, and whenever she goes through the people who know who she is, Madame Raz, Cal, and Light Hope, my whole thing sitting there watching is, wait, who's Light Hope? Where does Light Hope show up? I don't know who that is.
No.
I think we saw Granamyr more than we saw Light Hope.
Yeah. Yes. I was a bit shocked. Anyway, she turns herself into Shira, and is witnessing some dude getting chased by some other dudes.
Yeah, some thugs.
Yeah, some thugs. Something's going down. It's a deal gone bad. And of course, look at these morons. You have no idea who you're grabbing right now.
Even Shira's just kind of like, you serious?
Yeah.
Are you
She's
serious
got that look
right? Do you
really,
not know
dude?
who I am? Well, you don't know who I am, but do you not sense how much trouble you're in right now? I love the fact that Shira is so cocky. Yeah. She is such a cocky person. But it's never...
She's right to be.
Oh, she has every right to be, and it's never mean. It's just, oh, you want to play? Whee!
You're gone. But we do get introduced... If it's Eternia and there's good, there's always got to be evil, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we got our evil here, and I wasn't sure how they got the wizard from the cover of Hero of the Empire to be the bad guy.
I don't know. Probably how they...
That's a Star Wars joke.
Yeah, they probably just arranged the same deal that they did to get the flying monkey from the Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. Is it a griffin monkey? I'm all about griffins at the moment. I think it's a griffin monkey because it's like lion, monkey, but it's got wings.
Is it? I thought it was a baboon. I don't know.
Let's have a closer look. Let's decide. It's got some serious eyebrow action.
It's Mick Jagger.
It is. All right, so we have a pretty sustained scene because this is a big scene. Not only the bad guys checking out and going, who's that twirling the mustache? She gets attacked by a dragon, Shira, which is pretty full on, I think. She's got to do it again. We get to see the flexibility of her sword. He-Man really got shafted with his sword, hey?
Pun intended.
He can't do much with it. He can turn into He-Man and he can hack things with it and bounce beams. That's about it.
Yes. And his mount can't even fly. That's the worst part.
Yes, that's right. But her sword, mate, awesome. Turns into a shield.
Yeah.
But Twist, the guy that had been chasing, that those other thugs had been chasing, was actually friends with the dragon. They have a relationship. So... we get a scene of this where now they're all friends and they're going to go and visit Does he say he's going to go and visit Granamyr, or he says, I'm going to take you to someone who can help?
I'm going to take you to the Valley of Dragons.
That's right. He's
He
going to take
never
you to the Valley
mentions
of Dragons.
Granamyr because I remember, again, this is one of the episodes that stuck in my mind for some reason, and I don't know why. But I just remember whenever they go and Granamyr makes his appearance, I was actually floored. I was like, oh, it's Granamyr. It's Granamyr.
Yeah, it's Granamyr. Yeah. Granamyr, who actually looks a little bit older in this than he does in the other one.
Which is
but he's
weird.
1,000 years younger.
Maybe dragons are like Merlin. They age backwards.
Part Vulcan, perhaps? My
Perhaps.
mind to your mind.
Well, basically, yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah. So we get that, which is cool. I like that. There's something about it. Is let me see your thoughts.
Let me see your friends. Let me see your enemies. Okay,
Yes.
first of all, She-Ra, Bo, Glimmer, none of them show up as her friends.
No.
Not a one.
No.
It's like all He-Man, and I think Spirit shows up at one point.
Yeah.
And that's
then
it.
the villains are great because it's
Spirit and Hordak are the only two from her planet who show up in her memories.
Yeah.
If Bo and Glimmer were there, they would be so pissed.
Is this what we mean to you? Like, but the fact that
Sarah,
Skeletor gets
I'm gonna be insufferable now. Ah!
But I thought it was interesting. Skeletor
Let her go,
was there
Bo. Let her go.
because he's like Skeletor's like, man, that's my cousin's enemy. Is your cousin's enemy your enemy? I suppose.
Well, I mean, really think about it. He did participate in her kidnapping.
yeah, he did.
So,
He did. I suppose she's, suppose she hasn't let it go, but fair enough. But yeah, they go and meet him, and he maybe isn't as profound in this episode.
He's
in his
not
dialogue, but he's
could
more
strike it
helpful.
up.
He's a way nicer version.
Yeah, I mean, you could strike it up to him being younger, maybe a little bit more naive. Maybe
Not as
She-Ra
jaded.
maybe She-Ra was the person that he was talking about whenever he said the last human I talked to was 1,000 years ago. I didn't like her very much. But, he was still friends with What's-His-Face, so I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
something with
and
that.
so we're seeing a version of Granamyr that is, not as jaded. Still has a good relationship with human beings. So it kind of works on that level. You know what I mean? So there has been a bit of continuity thought behind his character, I think. So, yeah. Again, Mick Jagger.
He's got the moves.
Thank
like
God he
Jagger,
wasn't
yeah.
talking. Yeah. So because we are just swapping out an imp for an imp in a way, but
Pretty much, yeah. I was actually more annoyed with his voice than I was Imp, if that was even possible.
Yes, that is possible, and it was. God, when a character verbalizes that things are awesome and they have enough grain to see them through the entire year, it's gone, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Things are
just
awesome.
no.
We have plenty of food. We're going to live a long life, and I'm just 2 days away from retirement. What's that in the sky?
Yeah. Nah, but Gandalf the Purple shows up to throw a magic fireball down on it. Good plan, actually. Good plan.
It's not bad. Scapegoat a dragon. Or scape dragon.
Yeah,
dragon.
and if you think about it, dude, he's able to rally everyone together after that.
Mm-hmm.
To attack the dragons, because that's his plan. He wants to be able to control the dragons and eliminate any other threat, right?
Yes.
He was on a power grab. And they quickly, who knew they were so militarized? Because they got a whole slew of catapults ready to go.
Now, this is a well-regulated militia right there. I mean, that's just...
Very organized.
They had those things off on the side somewhere. Somebody was keeping them... The maintenance was great. They all worked great. I don't know. I would like to say that this is what evolved into the Eternian Palace Guards, but these guys are actually competent.
They are competent. They are. Except for what they're putting in the...
Go back to that picture. Okay, I don't know if you ever watched Metalocalypse, but tell me if the guy standing on the catapult is not Murderface.
Yes, I wish I had a side-by-side there, because it's pretty good, isn't it?
That's the magic of editing, because we can put that up now.
No. It also, you got to say, what they're putting in the actual catapults is my issue. Maybe something solid would help. So they're not really trying to kill the dragons. They're trying to bring them down, aren't they? Depower.
Well, you have standards and practices. You can't actually try to kill the dragons.
Yeah. Yeah. But a few of these dudes start to chase after She-Ra, right? When she rocks up.
Yes. Which
What's wrong with
not a
these
good idea.
dudes?
I don't know.
There's no females in Eternia at this point, I think. And they got their chip on their shoulder about women.
They do. I don't know.
Pretty great sword, though. A sword that could crack the ground in two is in twain. In two is yeah. I was going to say twain, and then I went two, and then it just didn't work.
It's true. It's true.
I'm not editing that. That's staying in.
No, don't edit that. I loved it. I'm going to use that from now on.
You know, that
cut you in
sword.
two.
That is the biggest weakness of She-Ra. Is the sword is get me out of any scene. Sword.
It is the sonic screwdriver.
It is, yes. That's great.
It is analogy. Basically, this does whatever the writers decided it does today.
But, you know, it's a scene that really, and it's a small episode in a way, because you think about it, you know, they quickly figure out that he's the real bad guy. She-Ra turns them on them. You know, am I missing anything with it, really?
Basically, the bad guy's an idiot, and he opens his mouth and ruins his own plan, Yeah,
that's it. He self-sabotages it. So, and then we have a powwow. We go back, and mind you, I think they reused some animation from that He-Man episode. What do you think?
Just a smidge. He has not changed the arrangement of anything
look
in
at
there
that
in 1,000
one.
years.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm now going to put up the same image, but with He-Man characters there. Okay.
What? Filmation.
Okay, he is moving, but everything else pretty well matches, right?
I cannot believe Filmation would take these kind of shortcuts. And I'm sorry, I hate to be crass, but it honestly looks like they're talking to Granamyr while he's sitting on the toilet.
He does look like he's taking a dump. I gotta say,
and
he always
taken him 1,000 years to do it. No wonder he was grumpy in that first episode.
Yeah, you try dealing with that. Somebody get that dragon some Metamucil.
Well, you know, your stool is full of like night bones and swords. That's going to take a while to come out peacefully.
Exactly, it's not going to be a pretty picture. You know what else isn't a pretty picture is guys who get super infatuated really quickly. Now the king. Clearly, there's not a lot of jewels to have in this kingdom. The king that we find out, he's crushing hard on She-Ra.
Oh,
there is no doubt he is crushing really hard. Because you know, the moment after they cut this moment, he's going, shame, I really wanted to hit that.
Yeah.
You know, he was...
And then Granamyr, which I think completely inappropriate. Oh, yes, I can tell that you had the hots for her. Here, take this and you can watch her without her knowing about it.
Yes, this is not creepy at all. You can now stalk her without her knowledge. You can check in on her.
She can't do a thing about it because she's 1,000 years in the future where you're dead.
Yeah, that's really wrong in so many kind of ways.
Oh,
isn't it?
incredibly
wrong. Nice little tie up to the initial plot, though, as she gets to go back home. She makes a pit stop, which I like.
I like that Mock is kind of a free agent here. He's not really part of the Horde. Sometimes he works by himself, but I like that him and Hordak are basically just equals here. You know, it's all your fault.
Yeah, it was your fault. That's what I was getting to, is the fact that I'm glad you said it. He must be a free agent, because I'm going, the kahunas on Moduloc to be so, it's your fault. I thought it was pretty extreme, but if he's a free agent, and go jam it, Horak.
I really did like the way She-Ra stole the plans, though. That was funny. Yoink! Bye.
And you know what? You didn't actually have to have that scene, because it could have ended just fine. I don't think anyone would have gone.
But it was funny.
It was nice that they tied it all up. Yeah.
Yes.
So, as a She-Ra episode, I do not hate this episode. I think it's a fine episode. Unfortunately, it comes off watching off the back of the previous episode that we just spoke about, so it obviously isn't as strong. But it was nice to have an Elseworld story for She-Ra.
Yes, definitely. I thought that the story was very clever. I wish that the writing had been a little... I wish the writing would have been a little stronger. But overall, as you said, it's nice. It's not thrilling, but it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I will say this week, Granamyr has provided some really good entertainment in the two episodes he's been in. So, Jason, our responsibility, it's a burden we carry.
Yes.
All our lives are consumed by trying to put together the live action versions of these characters throughout what we're doing here. So it is time for casting call. All right, and we've got to cast this character now clearly, without saying we're not looking for a physical performer here. You know, in fact, I questioned, do we even do one for this one? You went, wait a second, what about a voice actor? 100%.
Yes.
A character like this, you have to have a really strong performer who's going to provide the gravitas and the wise tone of, you know, somebody who, when he speaks, you listen type of deal.
Yes. Intimidation is the key.
And intimidation can come in many formats, as we know, Jason. Sometimes passive-aggressive can be very intimidating. Sometimes...
Granamyr was totally passive-aggressive.
Exactly. Sometimes the nicest people can say things subtly and it can hurt just as much as somebody yelling at you. So with this was an interesting one. When you threw hey, we're going to come up with a voice, I really had to sit back and think of it. You dropped a really impressive choice first off the bat. You want to talk about who you chose?
Absolutely. I know Granamyr is big, and he is majestic, and he is intimidating. And the first person I thought of, not a person exactly, but a character from Star Wars, an obscure character, unless you watch the TV shows, was Bendu. And Bendu was big and wise and powerful, and he didn't really care for people either. But Bendu was voiced by the great, the legendary, the one and only Tom Baker. And that is who I choose for Granamyr.
It's a younger photo of young Tom, but it's a great
Tom
photo
Baker is ageless.
He's ageless.
I don't care.
And of course, you said you've referenced Star Wars, but you know my generation knows him as one of the Doctors. I think.
Oh yeah.
Number six or number 4.
Number 4.
Sorry, I'm not as strong as Doctor Who. You know. Ask me about Australian TV and I'm even worse. No, I don't know. I have no excuse. I have no excuse. But there you go, number 4. I was close.
Yeah.
But he's an excellent choice because when he did play the Doctor, he always had a bit of danger. He was a little bit nutty, that version of Doctor Who, I always felt.
Oh, yes.
I always felt when I was watching him as a kid that he was very unpredictable, which was always a great choice. Now, I myself... I thought, okay, that's a great choice. What am I going to do? I want someone with gravitas. I want someone who the audience, who are basically just the average Joes on a Friday night, let's go to the movies. If they walked in and saw He-Man, what is a voice that they could associate with that represents something of power, something of prestige and that? I came up with, he's got a particular set of skills, Liam Neeson, because his voice is so identifiable. And it's so grand, and it's so big, and he's been known as playing wise mentors such as, you know, Qui-Gon Jinn, and even, well, for half the movie in Batman Begins, until we find out he's Ra's al Ghul. He's got a long history. Sorry?
Spoilers?
Yeah, it is spoilers for a film that's... Do you know that film's 18 years old?
Shut up.
Think about it, 2005 that came out.
Shut up.
2005, dude. I know, it blows your mind. But Liam Neeson would be great in that role. So I think
he would be. He would be nice.
We have a real hard decision to make here. And one day we're going to do a show where we're going to battle off with all our choices, and we're going to figure out and make the final choices on all these characters. It'll be an epic show one day.
But there we are, Joe. Poll or something. Have people just go through, just do a tournament.
Yeah, and then we can discuss whether they're right or wrong, because we will be judging you.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but that's it. We've done it. We have gotten through this couple of episodes, delightful episodes, one stronger than the other. But yeah, a good time was had for sure, Jace.
I agree. again, I think that the Dragon's Gift is probably one of the strongest episodes of He-Man, Filmation He-Man that I've seen. And this one from She-Ra, Dark Smoke and Fire, pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. I'm really hoping one of these days we come across a really good episode of She-Ra, because quite frankly, we haven't yet. We haven't come across an episode that's
Secret of the Sword I really dig.
Yeah. And I like the Christmas special.
Yeah, we love the Christmas special.
Yeah.
So, which I don't know, Jace. Do we just review that every year? We just go back and just do another review of it every single year? Because I'm down for that.
Going to stop us?
Exactly. Well, Jace, I've got to put you on the spot, mate.
Yes.
What are we doing next time on the Power of Jace Skull?
Question for you is, who was the most complex, interesting character from She-Ra and the Princesses of Power?
Man, there are a few there, eh? There are.
But
a few.
who went through the most interesting character journey?
You really put me on the spot, because I turn around and go, I love Shadow Weaver as a character. Like, I thought they went for it. I thought Glimmer went for a hell of a journey. I thought Bo went for a hell of a journey, mate. You really kind of got me here.
Who was the one that you were always rooting for, though? Even whenever she did the worst things possible, you were still rooting for her.
Mister, perhaps. You got me here, Jason.
Meow.
Sorry, I'm an old man.
Meow.
Yes, have we not done Catra yet?
We have not done Catra, so coming off, it's been a couple of months. We finished watching She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Now we're going to find a couple of She-Ra episodes that feature Catra. And we're going to see how this Catra compares to the other Catra. Is she terrible, or is she perfect?
I was feeling bad about it. I didn't pick it up. It was a Catra, but after those pun, I don't feel bad about anything.
Yeah, don't. That was
great.
Even when she does the worst things possible, you were rooting for Mermista.
I like Mermista, man.
I love Mermista too, but where did you get Mermista from?
I don't know. I was just grasping at this point. Let's be honest with you. Because Shadow Weaver's the one who I really, now it's been a couple of months later, I think of her character, and maybe because I'm a parent too, there's a lot of sympathy I have for her as a character, and the complexity of being somebody who has to be responsible for younger people in that. And, she's an abuse victim who becomes an abuser. Did I get myself out of that one? I think I talked myself out of that one.
Yeah,
so
you're getting there. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Catra, amazing, dude. Great choice. I'm excited because I haven't watched just about hardly any of She-Ra with Catra. So I'm really keen because you're really putting high expectations, because the Catra I know is one of the best written characters, period, that I've come across.
I'm going to give you a slight spoiler. Prepare yourself for massive disappointment.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I get that.
Ow!
So there you go.
Oh,
yeah. Well, hey, look. What can I say? All right, guys. Well, there we go. Next time you see us, we're going to be talking Catra, Filmation Catra. I can't wait. Until then, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks to Jason. And it's time to get out of here, Jason. So what do?
It's time to turn off the power of J-Skull.
I really didn't give you a good lead in this week, did I?
Not really. No.
Not at all. Wait. Before we go, guys, we almost forgot something. And that is, we didn't talk about the moral lessons from these two episodes, Jason. We got to do this, all right?
Oh, that's right. I found Lookie.
You found Lookie. All right. Well, before we get to Lookie, we've got to have a look at the message after the first half of the Dragon's Gift. Let's check it out.
Today, He-Man had to decide whether or not to chop down a tree. Now, the trees around you probably don't speak the way Skytree did. Or if they do, we haven't learned to hear them. Yet. But trees are living things. And when you respect a tree, you show that you care about all life. Life is a wonderful, precious gift. Learn to enjoy and respect it, and you'll be a happier, better person for it. Bye for now.
Who is she looking at?
I don't know, but I watched this episode on a floor standing TV that was made of wood. So whenever I heard that, I was looking at the TV and I was looking back at her and looking back at the TV and looking back at her. I'm sorry, Tila.
Yeah, but whoever did the animation, because I'm like, she's not talking to me. She's not looking at me.
Yes, she's talking to you. I don't know.
Yeah, she's talking to me.
She has a lazy
and
eye.
nice, an environmentalist message this week.
Yes.
Like, definitely something different, hey. But, you know, not one of their strongest morals, Jace, I've got to say. Not one of the strongest. So, but doesn't matter, mate.
It fits in, though.
It fits in. Let's have a look at the clip, because you said you found Lookie. Before I play the clip, where was Lookie?
Okay, right when Adora shows up after stealing the plans back from Hordak and she exits the portal and talks to Spirit, Lookie's in the tree behind her. And I thought they actually kept continuity there because Lookie's not in the past. Lookie is in the present. So good on them.
Good on them.
Hi, Looky here. Did you see me in today's story? If not, take a look now. I'm here somewhere. Here I am. In today's story, the wizard burned the villagers' grain and made things worse when he blamed it on the innocent dragons. Don't try to pass the blame for something you've done wrong. It just makes things worse for you when the truth is found out.
It's a kind of long stretch to lie,
Did
right?
Lookie watch well, of course Lookie didn't watch the episode because She-Ra was in the past, so he has no idea what the hell just happened.
He was pulling that one out of his...
Now the tree was, hey kids, today's lesson is don't lie, I guess. I don't know. What do you want from me?
I just thought the producer was in his ear and his earpiece going, don't lie. And she just Lookie had to come out with it. Not the strongest moral messages, but there you go.
No, not really. Lookie kind of dropped the ball plenty of times.
Wasn't that worth stop ending the show for? Nope. But
No.
We did it anyway, guys. We'll catch you next time on the next Power of J Skull.
Deuces.
Check out SpectrumSanctorum.net for all of our podcast merch. We have an entire merch store ready to give you all the things that you loved about our podcast. And get notified on all of our socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and our Spectrum Sanctorum merch store. Follow us today and be sure to hit that bell when you're watching our YouTube videos so you can be notified of when a new episode releases.